Drivers, beware. I need you to listen up because there are three major scams that affect all drivers, and most likely you will be scammed if you haven't been already. These scams can cost you a contract violation, possible deactivations, and even your hard earned money might be taken away if you are not careful. That is why it is important to know these most popular scams because you can do something about it if you know about it. I've been doing DoorDash for years, and the thing about most of them is they keep evolving because people keep getting smarter. But here's the thing, the scam still stays the same. Today, we will go into detail the three biggest scams against drivers, what dashers should know if you find yourself in the middle of one of these scams, and how can you possibly prevent these from affecting you. And stick around because one of these you might not know about, and one can actually have dashers just losing it all. This first one I'm going to talk about, it is an easy contract violation if it happens to you, and possible deactivation as well. So this is why it's super important. Here's the scam. So the customer basically orders their food and puts it as a leave at door. And guys, there are different variations of this. You can let me know if you've had a different one. But you go and get it delivered, and the customer is waiting for you at the door, even though it's a leave at door. You're like, okay, so you hand it to the customer, you don't think anything of it, you did everything on your part, you close out the order, you get back into your car, you think everything is okay, and then the customer reports that they never received their order. Now, this has also happened on the flip side where it could be a hand it to me customer and they never come to your door and you didn't wait out the timer, and they also can say that they never received their order. Any way you look at it, it is a scam because the customer reports to DoorDash that they didn't receive it, and guess what happens? They get free food at your expense as a driver. So what can you do to prevent this from happening? Well, there's really nothing you can do to prevent it, but you can do stuff to cover yourself. First of all, if you're at a door and the customer is waiting for you, still take a picture. I honestly always take a picture with the customer in the picture, so there's proof the customer actually received their order. I also take a picture of the house with the house number to provide proof that I was actually at the correct address and I did indeed drop it off. All of this, guys, is to cover your butt. If it is a hand it to me customer and they don't respond, I know it's a pain in the butt, but I start that timer even before I actually arrive at the customer's house at the earliest I can possibly do it. That way I'm not waiting too long, but you have to wait out the timer so you can actually take pictures of the drop off and that you dropped it off at their location. Everything to help you as a driver in case you have to dispute the customer not reporting. This next one is not the most popular and it doesn't happen very often, but it's really good for you to have a knowledge of this because you might not know it until you're actually in the situation. Here it is. So a customer decides to order from a restaurant and they order one item, maybe two items. Okay, sounds legit. You get the order, you're on your way. However, the customer immediately calls the restaurant and adds a lot more items. Like we're talking like 4 more items, 5 more items, 10 more items. And you're thinking, why would they do that? Well, here's the scam. They want the restaurant to make these extra items and then give it to you as the driver, even though you only have 1 or 2 items on your order. The scam of this is the customer saves money because it is a lesser delivery fee. They only have to tip the driver on just the 1 or 2 items, and then they saved money, but you as a dasher are out the money that would have been probably a large order catering order. You're out of that money that DoorDash might also lose that lightly, might have given you a little bit of a bigger base pay. So you as a driver are now out all this additional money that you would have received if it was an initially a big order. Now here's the thing. Liability wise, if you take ownership of this order, you are now held liable for food that is not on your order, and it's not DoorDash's fault, it's the driver's fault. So this is why I want you guys to look out for this, because this actually happened to me a couple months ago. I denied the order. I took the items that were on my DoorDash order, and the restaurant, I'll be honest, was not happy, but it's not my responsibility. Obviously, I partnered with support so they knew what was going on, so that way I covered myself and I wasn't held liable for that additional items that were supposedly supposed to be given to me for me to deliver. So just be careful, be cautious, know what to look for, and you'll be fine. Make the best decisions for you. Me personally, I didn't take it. Before I move on to the third one, at this point of the video, if you are enjoying it and you are getting great value out of it, I need everybody to do me a favor and hit that thumbs up on the bottom. Okay, so this last one is very popular, but it could cost you your earnings. It could cost you your DoorDash account. It could cost you a lot if you don't know what's going on or that it even exists. That's why I left this one for last, because I think this is the most important scam out there. It is simple. It is a phishing scam. What happens is a customer or a scammer decides to order one thing. Lately, it hasn't even had any monetary value. It's usually a couple of sauce packets from Taco Bell, McDonald's, or it could just be one small item that costs like $1. And it pays regularly, so you don't question it, because as a dasher, you're thinking, hey, pretty decent, only going 1 mile. They make it enticing for drivers to take them. Okay, so you have the order, you think it's ridiculous, but you're on your way to get it delivered, and then you get a phone call. They act like they are support, and they are not support. They say that they're DoorDash support, and that's far from the truth. They basically say that the order you are doing in some form or fashion is fraudulent, or a customer used a fraudulent credit card and they need to cancel the order immediately. Here's where the phishing comes in. They ask you for your personal information. They ask you for your login information. They ask you for your name, sometimes your telephone number, whatever information they need to log into your DoorDash account. This is so popular because they make it seem as though you possibly could be part of the fraud, and that's why they need to verify you are who you are. Guys, DoorDash support will never call you and ask you for your personal information. This is so super important. If you give these scammers your information, they can log into your DoorDash account. They now have access to your DoorDash account, so you now just lost your DoorDash account, and they are now switching all of your banking information to their banking information, and they just stole all of your earnings. This one, to me, it's preventable because I personally don't answer phone calls while I'm driving or I'm on an order. That's just me. Even if it does, if you suspect anyone is asking for personal information, hang up immediately, change your password, and call support to report it. So that way you are not a victim of this scam, and now you know what to look out for. I'm telling you, they're getting smarter by the day, and they're all after either free food, they're after your information, they're after your money. It's all one big scam. Have you taken a fake phone call from support? Has this scam happened to you? Or Have any of these scams happened to you? Let me know. Like I said, that second one did happen to me, and I knew what I was going to do as a dasher. You know, I went into full detail about the phishing scam in this video right here. You're going to want to learn all about it because it can really cost you the most. Go check it out, and I'll see you over there.